Okay, everyone, we're just going to take a look at the finished painting quick. And we can use this to paint from, draw from. Hi everybody, it's Chris here, and we're going to have an interesting bit of fun. We're going to get right into it here. We're going to do a alla prima painting. We're going to try to create a beautiful, simple country house here. I just looked something up online. I think I typed in house in the country or white country house, something like that. And I just find it, I just look through the pictures that I see online on my phone or my laptop. And I find something I think I like, and this here is really interesting. It's a real simple composition we can do alla prima. This will actually help us as artists to render our paintings simply, quickly. So if we're out in the field, if we're painting, let's say out in the field, and we go to a city or a place on vacation, or we take a weekend trip somewhere, we know we can sit down with confidence and render a painting in our sketchbook real quick. You know, just get it down, get it in, have a good time of it, and you know, we'll be happy. We've captured something. So I guess it's really good as a watercolor artist. Does this make sense? If you can render something real quickly, because this is the fun of it. If we're out again on vacation, we take a drive somewhere for the day, we go to someone's house and we want to do a quick painting in the backyard or anywhere we go. If we have a sketchbook and our palette, just like this here, we have a nice palette. I'll zoom back out here. You can use that picture as a reference if you like. If not, you can use my finished painting. I think that's better if you use my finished painting as your reference, if at all possible. But this is what we have, you know, our palette. So if we have our palette with us while we're out painting, and we have our, you know, our brushes, our pencil, and our water bucket, we're all set. And then we just take our subject matter, try to render it simply with our pencil sketch. So here we have a nice just mechanical pencil. You know, you just click on the end of the mechanical pencil and you get a brand new point each time. So as you're working, you can just keep drawing, and you don't have to worry about sharpening the pencil at all. These mechanical pencils are great that way. So we will work on this, and again, we're going to try to render this real simple. If you want, sometimes I have a small ruler. I broke this ruler in half carefully with I scored the ruler with a razor knife with wore my pair of gloves, safety gloves, and I scored a mark on my 6-inch line on my 12-inch ruler, and then I just carefully put the ruler in a towel so that there would be no pieces splintering up and whatever. And I wear glasses, so that's no problem. But I broke this. You can buy these rulers, half-size rulers. That's the best thing. If you can just purchase a half-size ruler and you have this in your duffel bag or your whatever you might use to, you know, carry with you if you're going out and doing some quick sketchbook work. So I'll take this and I'll just make a quick line on my paper here. And maybe with our paper we'll make just a border around our paper. It's good to have a border. It kind of just makes everything a little more simple when you're going to draw. If you know you have your border lines here, so then you can pretend that's the frame of your phone when you're looking at your picture. So this would actually be our phone, the nice crisp border around the picture on our cell phone. And then here, the building, we can make it about a little bit less than halfway. So if our paper is here, we make a hash mark halfway. So this is our halfway mark on our paper, approximately. And we just make a halfway mark and say, all right, that's halfway. The bottom of the house, this beautiful stucco house is about a little bit less than halfway, but not quite a third of the way down. So let's say about there. We could even go a little lower. Let's say about there. And then we can just make just a level line, very light. Just a level line to say, okay, that's going to be the bottom of the house. And then let's say we're going to, I think once we get the bottom of the house, we can start drawing from here. And again, we're going with, let's not take too much time here, worrying about very, very fine details. All right, we have a nice level line we got with our ruler for the bottom of our house. Then let's just start our drawing. So over here, there's some woods and trees. So we're going to leave the side of the house to start about here. And then we go up, and I'm going to put a little bit of an angle on the house going this way, even though in real life it looks pretty much straight. I'm going to put a little bit of an angle on it just to give it a little bit of interesting, angles to it. And then we're pretty much going to go across the page very lightly with another pencil mark there. And then we're going to we'll do another nice level plumb line here. So this would be a vertical plumb line like that. And then there's another small, looks like another wall that comes out on the other side of the house here. We'll draw that in. Looks like there's a window there too. So that's basically it. That's real simple. Basically, we're just looking at a rectangle here. So we've drawn our rectangle in, which is the main portion of our house, our stucco house, this really beautiful white stucco house. And let's do the center feature. So if we want, we can find this center mark approximately across this line here. If you have to measure, you can measure it to inches or millimeters and centimeters. By eye, I can kind of see the halfway points about there. And then there's a roof peak here. So I'll make the roof peak like this. That's easy. That's just a pyramid or a triangle on the top of that line. I hope you can see that. I'll draw a little darker. So that's the pyramid on top of this line. And this line we drew was across like that. And we have our lines going down like so. And that was our first line we drew with our ruler. Now we can, once we have our pyramid here, I noticed that it's a little bit, there's not enough angle. So this is when I just lightly do a little bit of erasing with a kneaded eraser. And I just make this more of a softer angle here. And once we paint the sky in, you're not going to see the pencil marks over here on this upper portion. We'll make it a nice rich blue sky, so we're not going to worry about it, that we have some pencil lines looking, there. This is Arches rough paper, important to use Arches rough paper or Fabriano rough paper. It'll make your painting go so much easier. So if you can, any Fabriano or Arches paper. Canson makes good paper too, rough paper. I've used that quite often. I use the Fabriano student paper, watercolor paper a lot. And let's see now, let's get this started over here. So now you could see that the roof over here, so let's make a hash mark about here. And another hash mark about here on our roof area. That is going to signify where the top of this roof starts to angle down toward the edge of the house. And we notice that the ridge of the roof here, the ridge is the tippy point of the roof up over here that goes across all the way. That is going to be here. And then we slowly pitch down like this to the edge of the roof. So that's all we did, is we put those little hash marks first, just so we, once we start drawing, we don't have to worry about it. We say we go to there, we look at our hash mark down here, and then all right, now we got to start angling down, like that. And that's it. Perfect. Now we'll do our two chimneys. Basically, our chimneys are two rectangles right here, and they're a little bit higher than that, so they're about like that. And then another one here, right alongside this line here, where we have this center section of the building, which protrudes out towards us a little bit. So we're going to make our chimney over this way here. And it's a little bit wider at the top, so we make a little bit of a wider top to the chimney there. And there's a chimney pot on top. And there's one there too. Okay, so now we've done a lot so far. You can take a break at this point if you want. We've done a lot of drawing so far, but again, we're doing it rather quickly. We're not going really slow. We're trying to keep a good pace going here. Let's keep going. Now we just have really, the windows are pretty simple here. The windows are centered on these two sections, the opposite ends of these walls. So all we have to do is just, and again, if you feel comfortable measuring things out with a ruler, that's fine. You can do that. I'm going to use just my eye here to do this. It's a little bit easier to just kind of keep everything going here, and perfection is as much as you want. You can have things measured out. I think it's better if it's a little bit like not perfect, you know? And I do the other window here, so we have 4 windows. And that's okay, that one's a little bit low. And we put this window sills in maybe across. Like that. And the window sills jut out a little bit beyond the window frames. And then the window frames have the sash here halfway. I think that's good. We'll do one more window here on the center. They're at the same height going across. So this is a symmetrical style design. And then we have the door here at the bottom. It's a little bit larger than the windows in width and height. It goes all the way down to the ground level. We have 2 light fixtures here. So we'll make them pointy pyramids on top. And then they just go in a little bit like so. And that's really we're really actually looking fine here now. You can make this less detailed than it is in the photograph, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to create all the details I see in the picture. I'm going to make this a little more simple. So now we have our house in, beautifully drawn. We didn't do too much detail and too much fussing around. We just got it in. Then over here in the foreground, let's do some of that. We're going to do some of the vegetation. Okay, so we're going to do some vegetation, and nothing, you don't have to get too, we can leave this free and fun. I'll get a couple leaves in there that look realistic, maybe another couple of leaf forms here we're going to do. And that's all. I just did a couple of leafy forms here and there. And that should be good. And we'll do some splashing in here, make it fun. Nothing too serious, just we want to have that little bit of plants in the foreground here so that it sets this house back a bit, and we'll make these more dark in tonal value. This will be lighter, and then we're going to get that gorgeous background, those fields, those gorgeous beautiful green fields and mountains back here. There's like a mountain range with some trees and fields and bushes. Let's all get that all in. There's a bush right here. And then the field starts right here at the driveway, and then it goes all the way back into the distance. So that's going to be a nice feature. We have some shadowing under here, so now I'm starting to notice where the shadows are. Okay, I'm going to draw in my shadow over here, and that's going to go across the whole building like that. And then there's another shadow over here that is along this side. And this shadow actually goes like this. It's important to notice subtle shadow changes, like here. Here the shadow angles like this, and then the other shadow comes over here and it stops at this area here. This is actually, if you can imagine, this center section of this house is protruding towards us, so it's like a small area that protrudes out of the structure. So that's why we sometimes get those interesting shadows. And the roof up here makes a pointy shadow on the wall here. So that's the shadowing. We have that good. The chimneys have a shadow up here. Let's get those in. Hash marks. And that looks good. I think we're pretty much set. And then this over here, some trees. There's some tall bushes and trees. Let's get those in over here. And I think that's good. And along with that, let's make this more interesting even still. Let's do some more field back here. It's not in the picture, but this is where we want to take some artist liberty and make some field over here and some trees so that we continue it from here. The house obscures the rear of the property where those beautiful green fields are and trees. So let's continue that over here. So you have a large tree on the side of the house over here. And that's fine. We have that. And then we have that field picking up back again over here with those beautiful green colors for the fields. Okay, this is fine now. We've done our drawing. We've done pretty much all the pencil sketching we need to do. This is going to all be a rock. These are all rocks. A nice, beautiful front driveway area. Plenty of space for cars to drive up and turn around. And so this is a really nice rock driveway, stones, small gravel driveway. All right, let's come back in just a few minutes. We'll do this painting quickly, effectively, and then you'll know when you go out into the field, if you want, and to do a little bit of plein air, outdoor alla prima painting, you know exactly how you have to do it. We'll get our drawing in, take about 15, 20 minutes, get the drawing done, take our time, make sure we get a good rendering, nothing too detailed, and then now we'll take a break, and then we'll start painting. All right, so I'll take a break, and again, I always mention, hey, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We do paintings like this each and every week. We also do fun paintings on drawings, contour drawings, sketching, ink and wash we sometimes do here. We do every type of format, landscape paintings, seascape paintings, flowers. We do, cityscape paintings. We'll do, floral type paintings with still life combinations. So we do everything here. And I'm sure you'll be very happy when you subscribe and keep coming back, and we'll have lots of fun and we'll learn something new each time we come to create our work here, our paintings, our drawings, and I'll be right back and we'll start up with the painting. All right, so we're back. We took a nice break. I took about 15 minutes, relaxed a little bit for that time, sat down. I stand up at my art table here, so a lot of times I like to just sit down for 10, 15 minutes and relax. And I have everything ready to go here. Let's see, let's get the... I'll just take some paper towel. And I just did some spritzing with my spritzer bottle, clean up the palette, and we'll start up, and I'll probably use okay, we'll do this alla prima. I'll start out with the number 5 Da Vinci travel brush, watercolor brush. And I'm going to say, let's get started with our darks. French ultramarine blue, burnt umber, burnt sienna, a little bit of Prussian blue, a little bit of cerulean blue. So we'll get some dark paint on our palette, straight paint right onto the palette. And we'll mix it around. Very lightly. We're not going to really keep mixing. Let's just mix it a little bit so we have a little bit of variation there. Let's go right for our darks. And I'm just going to start doing the windows here. I'll get some dark paint on there. Rinse off the brush. Damp brush now, and maybe a little lighter blue here. And I'm just going to mix it around very loosely, very easily. Some green. I'll leave some white paper there too. A couple little specks of white paper always look good in the windows, reflections. And we can go back in and do a little more work to our windows if we want later. And we'll just continue right on. Here with our darks, I get a little bit of darks, I rinse the brush off, then I go maybe some blue, some green. Cobalt blue. This will lighten up a little bit the windows. A little bit of green over here too. Let's do some green. There we go. And some darks. So it's just a matter of darks. Darks are usually at the very top of the windows. You'll notice that gets a bit of a darker shadow at the top. And then it gets a little lighter as it straight paint. Again, I leave some white paper. Could always take a little bit of tissue and blot up a little bit. If you think you went too much with too much paint. And we're going to continue on here. And we're just basically doing our rectangular shapes. And we can get some warmer colors in there too. We try to always mix warm and cool together. I'm being daring. I'm working on two windows, or window and a door at the same time. I actually sometimes will do that. But now this doorway is darker. This doorway seems very dark, so let's do that. Plenty of straight paint. And maybe a quick dab of light. Actually, the light is over on this side, like that. And then later on, you can go back in and do a couple details here and there with a fine needlepoint brush. For some of your window details, you'll see this is drying lighter now. Also go in with some gold. And that's all. We have some really good solid darks here to start with, and now we can judge the rest of our I'll use some more darks here and up here, so I'll use some Prussian blue and French ultramarine blue to get that little bit of darker tone and tonal value up the tops of the windows. Now we can take this idea and we'll do our roofing, which is kind of a mixture with a little more gold in there, so let's add that. It's going to be darker when it dries, so let's make sure we go dark enough here. Raw umber and then the blue mix. And we'll do the sky last, once this completely dries 100%. So that's raw umber, Prussian blue, and French ultramarine blue, burnt umber. Again, that will dry lighter. We could add a little bit of water to it. We'll do our shadows from our chimneys once this dries 100%. Okay. I'll do a couple splashes on the exterior here, just to give it some that stucco feel. Okay, we're going to let all of this dry right now. Maybe we can do our tops of our chimneys. That's burnt sienna, burnt umber, French ultramarine blue, and Prussian blue. And I'll just do a little bit of shadowing under there, like that. And we'll use our needlepoint brush to do the light fixtures and maybe some of the other details here. We'll keep working on this over here. This is the other roof over here. There's a dark shadow under there. Let's do that. There's a window on the side. Let's make it super dark. I just leaned into my paint. No big deal. We'll use some white, a little bit of touch of white paint over there once everything dries. So if you have a little smudge, don't worry about it. That's a window over here, like that. And you can really see how the darks, when you get the darks in first, because we're doing this, alla prima. This is the direct approach, alla prima. You do your drawing, and then you're doing the whole painting at one time. No glazings really. Just I start out with my darks, get my darkest darks in, and then I vary my lights as I need to once I'm completed with the darks here. So let's get our darker greens in here. We got raw umber, sap green, a little bit of raw sienna. I think we're going to stick more with the greens. Sap green over here, cadmium lemon yellow. I see a nice bright green here as well. So let's take all these greens and get these out into the field, into the distant field here. That's all. One brush stroke across for that one area of the field. Then closer to us is more lighter yet. A little bit of variation. And we're going to do the same over here. I'm going to do a little bit of the darker. This is important to get a good darker tonal values at the bottom of this here. And if we do a couple of those trunk-like shapes, we can bring that light bright green right through into the underside of that tree portion, which will really look good. It'll give it that really nice look of distance. And here I'm going to do those bushes in the distance that go along there. And there's some more distant trees all the way in the distance here. So I just tap those in really lightly. They're a little cooler, these, so that looks good. I just tapped up some of the paint. Okay, and then we have okay, I keep tapping my phone. It keeps shutting on and off. The picture keeps going. And a couple trees in the distance there. That looks fine. And we'll go with a we'll do this small bush over here. I'm just doing some splashing on the driveway for the stone driveway, and I think we should actually take another break now, let everything dry. And it's good to take breaks every once in a while. If you feel like you want to keep working, that's great too. Not everyone needs to take as many breaks. I tend to get a little fatigued after 15 or 20 minutes, so I'm going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll do the sky, and we'll do also the beautiful foliage here in the foreground. These plants and things in the foreground. And once we get that in, I think we'll be set. All right, we took a break. We're back. Everybody, I always mention, if you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button below. Join along with us every week. We do beautiful watercolor paintings each week, and we also do some, teaching type videos with like drawing, palettes, colors, swatches, different techniques that you can learn as a watercolor artist to help you along and help your paintings go more smoothly, and also to just have your knowledge base increased. Watercolor is a game of knowledge, so the more knowledge you have, the better you're going to become as an artist, as a watercolor artist. There's a lot of things to learn, so let's keep learning. Hit that subscribe button. Come along with us on the journey. Everyone's here, and we're going to have a great time as we go. And here we're just getting back into our painting. We took a break. So we did our darks first, as of course we said, with a la prima painting and direct approach painting. That's kind of two words that we use to describe painting, really just directly right onto the paper, start to finish. So we're basically going to start to finish here, right through the painting. So we've got our darks in, which were the windows first. And then we have some dark trees in the distance here, middle distance. We have some trees on the side of the house that are pretty dark. And then you have the roof here. It's getting a little bit a little bit lighter now. We start to get those lighter tonal values, as well as the fields, the grass fields here on the property of this beautiful Plaster House. It's a stucco house. It's got beautiful white stucco and nice big windows and a beautiful entryway and a nice large driveway here, a stone driveway. So we're going to continue here. We're going to get maybe we're going to do a feature that we see here in the front area by this this gable roof on the front here. I think I'm just going to put a small bit of shingles here. That looks good. And we also have some shadowing. So we could do some shadowing under here. Then we have a little bit of shadowing under our chimneys here. And then French ultramarine blue, a little bit of burnt umber and Prussian blue. And we're going to do a little bit of the shadowing for the chimneys, which is right over here. A little bit of darks there, just to get that shadow look. And I think we'll do the shadowing for the underside of this eave. And I'll make that a mix of cerulean blue, a little bit of our mix up here, just a little bit of that grayish mix up there, and a little bit of yellow ochre or raw sienna. And then we just fill in our shadow areas. And I'm trying to make the shadows a little interesting by adding in some of the gold, the raw sienna or yellow ochre. And we just keep working our shadow areas, and we drew in our shadow lightly with our pencil. And we'll do maybe a little bit of purple here, just to... Now, since I'm putting in some purple in the shadows, ultramarine violet is my purple color, and since I do that there, I'll just remember I need to add a little bit of that purple color here and there. Okay, so we just filled in our shadow areas. We penciled it in. We looked at our photograph and made sure that we got the correct shadow pattern on our structure, on our home here, our beautiful white stucco house. And this looks fine now. We have, we could maybe, I'm just going to make this a little more crisper of a line here for the side of the house. And I think we're ready. We'll start doing some greens here. We'll get in our, here, nothing too fancy. Let's get in some greens. A little bit of blue mixed in there. A couple splashes. There is some reds, so we want to put in our alizarin crimson. There's some beautiful red leaves and things here, so we want to capture that too as well. And we can mix in some burnt sienna with that. A little bit of a variety of things. We'll use our and you can see now I'm kind of getting more. We did quite a few details, so now we can just maybe not worry so much about all the details of this. We know it's plants and things like that, so we're just gonna then we're going to get our needlepoint brush. So I'll take my needlepoint brush and we'll do red with a little bit of our mix here. Then we'll do some greens, mix with some burnt umber, maybe some French ultramarine blue and a little bit of Prussian blue. And we'll just do some of the darker twigs and stems and things. And that looks pretty good. We're going to pretend we're doing a field sketch here. So we're sort of having fun and just pretending we're out, maybe doing this scene in the field, and we're not getting too bogged down with details. We're just having a fun time. I'm going to splash on here with some I can make some larger leaf shapes maybe to kind of that looks good. Have fun with that area when we're doing our leaf shapes. Maybe we can make it a little bit more dense over here so that it kind of blocks off the eye from going too much over to the left. So we can okay, we've really got everything complete, I think. We can do our sky. I might get I'll use the Raphael brush. And we'll mix some cerulean blue there and some of that leftover color. I'll make it darker in the try to make it darker in the corners here. And then as I work the colors, I'll try to lighten it up. Real simple. If it's hot out and you're working outdoors, you really don't have much time. I'm indoors right now, so that I have a lot of time to work on this wash. Sometimes you'll notice if you're outdoors, the water and paint really dry fast, and you can really have a problem sometimes with doing sky washes because you have to cover a lot of area with the sky, you know, with the colors, with the washes. So just a thing to remember. If you're maybe outdoors and it's hot or warm out, you might wet the paper first in the sky area. And as always, just a tiny touch of cadmium orange along the horizon line. Simple sky, all one wash. I didn't put any clouds in there. And that's really all. That's it. We have a fun time. We did this one quickly. We didn't spend too much time fussing over details. And you can see we did a really nice rendition of a beautiful white stucco house out in the countryside. And maybe we take some purple and some green and some cerulean blue. Mix that up and we'll do maybe a little bit of just a little bit of wash on the stone driveway. Haphazard, just take some stuff and that's all we got to do there. Some splashing for the stones. Hopefully that will give us that feel of the stone driveway. Maybe we're going to add a little bit of orange and alizarin crimson to warm up the foreground a little bit. And the shadowing is sort of, we don't get much of a shadow along the front of the house here, just on the side. And I'll blot up a little bit of paint. All right, I hope we had fun. Quick and direct approach, the alla prima approach. A this beautiful scene, beautiful white country house in the beautiful sunny weather, summertime, springtime sort of feel. And we'll see if we can zoom in a little. There we go. All right, everybody, I hope you had fun. Again, please hit that subscribe button. Come along. Once a week we're here at least, maybe sometimes 2 times, 3 times a week we'll be making videos, techniques, fun things, full paintings every week of every subject matter you can imagine. If you like the painting, give it a try. Paint along with us. If you're not interested in painting maybe a house, maybe next week we'll do flowers and you'll have a fun time painting flowers, or maybe even a cityscape, and whatever you like, we do it here. All right, so we will see you on the next video, and have a great day. Bye-bye.